for the online lectures.
Yeah, I understand then.
Yes, yes, but they are joining. They are joining.
Sure, sure.
Okay. But I think we should start. People will come. What do you say?
Sure.
Yeah.
Actually, we are waiting for one surprise entry. VC sir knows that Samir Rohodia is there, Chetan. And, he is IT and BI trainer from Germany. And he requested me to join. So I have sent him a link.
Can I see his face?
But he is not here still. We are waiting for him.
Not in the meeting. Okay.
But
He
told me that he will surely join. So let us
if he's
wait.
listening, regards are with.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Okay. Okay.
So 1 minute left for the official time, Chetan.
Sure, we'll do that.
Okay. So shall we start?
Sure.
Yes. So good evening, friends. Good evening, Indian friends, and good morning to Chetan Khatri, our beloved student. Okay. And we always feel pride when Chetan is in front of us. Let me introduce Chetan Khatri specifically to Vice Chancellor Sir. That Chetan Khatri is lead architect and at Action Lab, Canada. Okay. And prior to that, Chetan was at Nazara Bank as a lead data scientist practices. And he is also international speaker on functional programming and specifically Scala, if I'm not wrong, Chetan. Okay. And the most important thing is he is our prestigious alumni since last 6 years. He is a 2014 batch student of MSCC and IT. And we always feel proud when Chetan Khatri's name is there. On an average, every week we are giving the example of Chetan sir. I'm specifically pointing to Vice Chancellor sir. Okay. So it's our pleasure to welcome Mr. Chetan Khatri, and let me welcome Sandeep Lodaria sir also, principal of DMV College. I think Samir Rohodia sir is also there, Chetan. Samir sir, VC sir wants to see your face. Even I don't know your face.
I saw him for a while, for a 5 seconds, 4 seconds. I saw him.
Okay. If Chetan, if Samir sir is there in the screen, then you can have post some.
Sure, we'll do that.
Video. Yeah. Samir Rohodia is the name. He is from Germany and he is BI and IT consultant. And very soon we'll have workshop on some data scientific tools also. So this was the introduction of Chetan Khatri, specifically for Vice Chancellor sir and Samir sir. Other people are mostly knowing him, or we can say other students are fan of Chetan Khatri. And not wasting much of our time, let me take the blessings of Vice Chancellor sir, okay, and then we will start a talk with Chetan Khatri. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, I'm sorry because I have to leave, and it's a very long day for me. And it is very good morning for him, but it's time to say good night here.
Yeah, thanks, sir.
Day is so Chetan ji, thank you very much for sparing your time with your own university in your own department. I am very happy to see Dr. Samir Rohadia, and now he's doing very well in Germany. So I congratulate him for his venture and offering his services to KSKV Kachchh University. Dr. Mulani also has done a wonderful job by saying that give me the blessings only, because the topic is what you call is the webinar on data science and for the beginners. I'm not even a beginner, so I just do not know how to go about it. But what I understand from the word data science, without data science, what I understand is even the data mining is not possible. And the players like the Google and other search engines, they use what you call is the data mining techniques and self-learning algorithms. So without data, now the world cannot live now. So data science is the area, what you call is the study of which involves extracting the insights from the vast amount of the data. So you correct me, Chetan, because I'm a very layman about all these things.
No, it's definitely correct, and whatever you said, it makes sense for everyone to understand.
Okay. By the scientific methods and algorithms and the processes. The data science is interdisciplinary field that allows you to extract knowledge from structured and unstructured data. Data science enables you to translate the business problems, like say I'm in the field of the management, so that will be helpful in extracting the data and try to solve out the problems. So you see it, and it is everywhere. So it is just like management. I mean, management is everywhere. The data is everywhere. Correct. For management, you require the data right from Morari Bapu's Katha to Morarji Desai's Sabha. So you require data. You require management. So that is one thing. So it is the science of acquiring the knowledge through data. Data science is used for what is, as I just said, making decisions, to make predictions, to understand the past and present, to create new industries and products. That is where the management people and the industry people, they will require a lot of data. So data science is the combination of three basic areas, as I understand. One is your maths and statistics. Unfortunately, the KSKV Kachchh University, they do not have the Department of Maths and Statistics. So as a challenge for the Vice Chancellor is to how to create this department. And somebody said that it's very easy because you do not require the labs for this. So we'll try and get these two departments here. And computer programming, okay, that is the second area. That is the ability to use the code and create the outcomes. Then you have what is the domain knowledge, understanding of the problem. A domain like you have the medicine, or you have the marketing, you have the finance, you have the social sciences, you have the humanities, you name it. And it is a fine arts even. Now the performing arts, everywhere you require the domain. So as all the other sciences are the part of your life, data science is a core of information technology, and now directly or indirectly it is the part of our lives. And if you look at the pandemic which is coming now, and it is taking wire. Wow, it is a astronomical pace with which it is spread all over the world, whether it's India or it's the US or Europe. So, I mean, with the help of your data science, I will cut it short. First thing that in a COVID-19 situation, with the help of data science, you will come to know about the detection of the diseases or detection of the problem. So that is number one. Spread, for example, how it is spreaded. What you call it in Gujarati is a sankraman. And due to the people that they are coming from all over the world or from all over the district or from all over the states to Kachchh, for example, you hardly find any cases. When I came in a COVID, there was hardly 4 cases. Now it's more than 200. And if you look at Ahmedabad, or if you look at our own Baroda from where I came, it's astronomical. So spread, you can come to know with mobile phone data, can play a key role in tracking the movement of people. So, I mean, see, there's a mobile technology that is managing the pandemic. I mean, with the help of the data science, you will be able to manage it. And I feel that India is reasonably managing it. Pandemic. Otherwise, India is so populous a country, it would have been, by now, it would have been gone, whatever. And the fourth area is what is the data science help, is the recovery. The recovery, if you look at the statistics of a recovery rate, it is good. So from the data sciences, you will come to know about this. So once the outbreak has been contained, public health authorities can use artificial intelligence, AI, and data science to make decisions about how to deal with the outbreaks in the future. If you look back, one idea came to me that I should have the kings that are here in state, like we have the Maharao of Kachchh, we have the Rajmata of Baroda, you have the king of Rajkot and Jamnagar, so on, and have a webinar that how they manage the pandemic called what is the tuberculosis or the other this thing, and how the state helped to manage the menace of all those things. So data that is collected from this pandemic will be invaluable in understanding how best to deal with the future outbreaks. And we hope that such future outbreaks should not happen. Otherwise, it will pack back India or any other country way back into their, whether you call it say GDP or whatever you call it. It will be very nice to tell that Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi gave the package of 20,000 crores to manage, to bring back the economy to the level again. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to understand this 5-6 points of a data science. And I will not be here for the throughout. I beg your pardon and would like to leave the meeting. So with the permission, I should go, Mulani ji.
Sure, sir. And, thank you very much, sir.
If Samir is listening, we'll take help of Samir for few more webinars like. And I'm very happy with your alumni that they are helping you like this.
Yes.
So Samir.
Yes, sir.
With what is extension of the Maharaja Sayajara University here in KSKV, so try to help us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, and thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Namaste, Chetan ji.
Welcome, Samir, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Let me thank Vice Chancellor, sir, for his blessings. And I know that he is working since early morning. Okay, and still he is here in his office. So still, thank you very much for your words, sir. And let us not waste much time. And I am giving a chance or a mic to Chetan Khatri that he will introduce data science and give some more insights. Again, I request or instruct my students and each and every students present in this meet that please have a note, please have a pen, keep on writing, and at the end of the session, ask some questions. Right? Each and every word spoken by Chetan Khatri will be a golden word. Remember my words. Okay, so specifically, I invite everybody for the questions after end of the session. Formally, let me welcome Shruti ma'am and Neeraj sir in the meet. Okay, they are our important colleague. Okay, Chetan, over to you.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much, sir, for introduction, and thank you so much for Vice Chancellor sir for great, amazing introduction on data science. So, not wasting much time, I would like to thanks Department of Computer Science and Kachchh University for invitation. I know it's been a long time we have been talking that when can we have this, and fortunately we have a final date when we had this webinar. So it is great privilege and honor for me to talk on data science in front of Kachchh University Department and all other students and all other attendees. So I will start with introduction, and I have formal presentation slide where we will take you through that, right? So yeah, I mean, everyone knows my introduction, but formally on my presentation file, right? Do I qualify to talk on data science or no? So let me give my introduction in some of my words, what I do here. So I'm a systems architect and lead for data engineering and the product strategy in machine learning and AI, and also data at Axion Labs Canada. Prior to that, I was a technical lead at Axion Labs India. I was the lead of data science practice at Nazara Games, and I joined as my first company called Axela Corporation, which is now acquired by NG Data in Germany. And I did open source contribution to some of the softwares like Apache Spark, Apache HBase, and Delta Lake, which is now Linux Foundation platform. And I did Masters in Computer Science from Department of Computer Science, Kachchh University. What do I do currently? Do I do currently machine learning, AI, and data science? Kind of yes, kind of no. Currently, my work is mainly on category theory, functional programming with Scala and Haskell, and distributed computing. My area of interest is climate change, renewable energy. This is what I spend my time to understand and talk about that. As said, I have been international speaker for most of the 20 plus conferences in 19 countries. Currently, I live in Canada. And in my rest time, I do traveling, I do book readings and exploring the nature. So, I don't know. Yep. So today what we are going to talk, we will talk what is data science and the role of the data science in our daily life. We'll talk about motivation behind that, and we'll also talk about challenges that it has or it is affecting our life. We'll understand the use cases and application, and we'll talk about at the end data governance, ethics, and regulation. We'll talk about opportunities and roles in that field. And at the end, if you want to learn, what would be the learning path and the career path. So this is a brief agenda and summary of what we are going to talk today. So what is data science? So data science, as you see this Euler's diagram, that data science is a kind of combination of computer science, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. So higher level, the deep learning is subfield of machine learning, and machine learning is subfield of artificial intelligence. And at the end, artificial intelligence is a subfield of computer science. So when you see that, when you cover some of the portion of each four items, this is where it creates data science. So coming back to understanding what is artificial intelligence, then only you will be able to derive some of the points of data science. So when we talk about data science today's world, artificial intelligence is the implicit. It is given over there. So everyone sees and understands and reads about autonomous car. You get recommendation suggestions on your platforms like Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, and HBO, and YouTube and Facebook, right? You see your face detection system in your mobile, in Facebook, and everywhere, wherever you use that, right? So key terminology behind the AI is autonomy and adaptivity. The ability to perform tasks in complex environment without constant guidance by user means the system can itself take decision and learn it, relearn it, and also unlearn it. It's not only predefined parameters over there, right? When we talk about adaptivity, the ability to improve performance by learning from the experience, like it is similar the way the way we learn, like human brain learns from the system, right? The same way we learn from our experiences and our suggestions or whatever we probably get output from our experience. That is what we think is correct, right? So same way the biological brain learns if you simulate the same parameters and the psychology with that. That's where it comes with it. Machine learning and deep learning. For the machine learning, systems that improve their performance in a given task with more and more experience or the data. So let me give an example. If you have a small baby at your home, like 7 months or 8 months, and if you give him an example saying that you saw the picture of a cow and then you say this is a donkey. If you say it to that baby for, let's say, 10 times, after that 1 month, if you're going in a park and if that baby sees a cow, he will say that is donkey, right? Based on that, this is what you train to the system, and the system learns and system gives you the output of the same thing, right? Deep learning is a subfield of machine learning, which itself is a subfield of AI, which itself is a subfield of computer science, as I said earlier, right? Data science is a recent umbrella term, a term that covers several subdisciplines that includes machine learning, statistics, certain aspect of computer science, including algorithm, data storage, and web application, right? So probably when you mix up this everything and build the product, at that time you tell that I'm doing the work in data science. So this picture gives you high-level understanding of all jargons in one bucket. That when we talk about artificial intelligence, we talk about pattern recognition, deep learning, intelligent agent, narrow AI, sentiment analysis, reinforcement learning, algorithms, mathematical models, generic AI, and embedded systems. Now, probably you might tell that this covers everything, right? Yeah, this covers everything because you don't need AI in your mobile. You need AI in factory. You need AI everywhere, wherever you need it, right? So let's say if you want to take input from the IoT devices, you will take input from IoT devices, and then if you want to make those IoT devices intelligent, you want a data science model to respond to that device and sensor to take an action, right? For an example, I was working with one friend in London. They have gas boiler at home, and if the temperature of the boiler and the voltage of boiler goes down, then we automatically want to turn off the power, let's say, right? There's a special use that I am sleeping and my gas boiler its temperature is getting increased. So based on that, I want to take certain action, right? And that is hard coded. Then that's called a still rule-based system, right? And when you want to automate that and use the capability of machine learning and AI, that's called, this is artificial intelligence driven device. So there's a term called AI driven products, right? The product which is driven by AI. certainly with understanding of the user. What when we talk about algorithms and mathematical models, there are still violation and still there are regulation by several government and bodies that we don't want our banks to use machine learning, right? So over there, they use models created in quantitative approach with mathematics, right? Still they use operating system and algorithms where it gives the I don't know who is creating this. So can you guys see some charts? There's some disturbance in between.
Yes, I think it is over. I request everybody to not do this, please.
Thanks. We'll share this recording with you. So that was disturbing, sorry.
Yes, continue.
So can you guys see my screen now?
Yes, yes.
Just let me know if you can't see screen or some disturbance so we can regulate that.
No, visible properly.
Yeah. So I was talking about banks, like in Singapore, they have regulation that they can't use machine learning models. So over there, I mean, they are required to use quantitative models with operational research, right? And there's a subject in the Department of Computer Science called operational research. And when I was studying that, I had no idea that how it can be used, but time and cost-based modeling is very popular in Singapore banks, right? So the question is that what is good and what is bad? The pretty good headline, if you see that data from wearable helps tech and AI to spot signs from diabetic, whether you are diabetic 1 or 2, this device is able to tell you, right? This is pretty good headline. But if you see this headline, Google's artificial intelligence built an AI that outperforms any made by humans, right? This is all-time most misleading AI headline we have ever seen. So there's a pretty much role of journalist and the social media and the companies of who publish the actual channels of media channels who publish the news, right? So if they publish something wrong, we will definitely have a problem with what is best and what is not. So misguidance, misleading of the data would be an impact to everyone. So what does it mean? There's something called suitcase words. Suitcase word was term coined by Dr. Marvin Minsky. He's a cognitive scientist and one of the greatest pioneers in AI, coined the term suitcase word for terms that carry a whole bunch of different meanings that come along even if we intend only one of them. Using such terms increases the risk of misinterpretation, such as the one above. Co-founder of MIT and lab of the artificial intelligence was created by Marvin Minsky. He was the one who wrote several texts concerning AI and philosophy. So why we are talking about philosophy of AI? Because philosophy is mother of all science, and philosophy is behind the thoughts that biological brain can think of. So the very nature of the term artificial intelligence brings up philosophical questions, whether intelligent behavior implies or requires the existence of mind, and to what extent is consciousness replicable as computation. So mind has consciousness, and how it can be replicable as a computation, that's very important to know. So role of AI in daily life. Everyone is using Google Map, right? So it finds the shortest path from destination 1 to, yeah, sorry. If you can be on mute, that would be really helpful. We will give you time at the end. If you want to find the shortest path from location A to B, let's say from London Bridge to Tower Hill Station, you will say that this is the right way to go there. And if this is what is driven by AI in machine learning, if you see your emails are going to spam, This is also one of the example of machine learning in AI called binary classifier, right? And nowadays, if you see WhatsApp, right, if someone is giving you a message like, hi, how are you? It will give you recommendation that good, I'm good, or fine, right? Whatsoever you want. So the role of AI in our life is kind of tremendous, right? We are using every day machine learning AI, probably we know or we don't know. That's the different aspect. And this is some of the examples I'm going to tell you that if you see your Facebook face recognition system, if you open Twitter, it says promoted, right? So it goes to your browser history and find out the data, and based on that, it gives you real-time machine learning inference over that. If you see that the Facebook ad on sponsored by Udemy, it knows that how many friends are talking about that. It knows that what I was searching in Google search, and based on that, it gives you the recommendation over there. How they read the background data, there's something called Facebook, your off Facebook activity. So this is where whatever you visit, probably in some of the days, it can read 500 plus apps and websites. What I have done, where the data is received, how many data is received, which was the person on the website I spend more time, and extract that information, right? So data science is powerful when you have powerful data. If you don't have the raw data, which is powerful, but it's not diverse data, your algorithm will get overfitted. It will get underfitted. Technically, it is called gradient vanishing or gradient, I think gradient vanishing is the term for that. Now, let's talk about use cases and applications, where and what kind of application you can use machine learning AI. If you want to do regression, classification, recommendation, personalization, information extraction, forecasting prediction, real-time data analysis, natural language processing, deep neural network, reinforcement learning, computer vision, character recognition called OCR, and speech recognition and federated learning. This is same thing in different tabular formats, so I'll probably skip this. So now, well, we know that some of the folks in this webinar are technical folks, so I would like to cover the tools and technology behind that, right? So languages, popularly people use Python, Scala, and R. If you are a statistical mathematician, you will prefer to use R and then switch back to Python. And at the end, when you talk about production system, you will go back to Scala, right? It comes with data quality, pandas, numpy, and those other systems can be used. Predictive modeling, you will start with scikit-learn, statistical models, sparkling ML, and these are some of technology. Deep learning, there are a wide array of technologies, TensorFlow, Keras, CNTK, Caffe, Spark, MLlib, MXNet, PyTorch, BigDL, S2O.ai. Some of these technology I have contributed to that, so it's fairly same thing with a kind of different flavor. You also need data visualization to showcase to your business leaders and executives that what did you derive from something, right? For that you will use Matplotlib, Seaborn, Plotly, and so many others. And when it comes to containerized application, you want to orchestrate that. You don't want to say that it should run in one computer, let it run on multiple computers. You will use Docker and Kubernetes and Linux Kit for that. When it comes to schedule, you will prefer to use Airflow and Ansible to schedule that. Right, and now you can use GPUs. People use GPU for playing games, but you can use GPU for, so what call it graphics card for training the machine learning models, right? Because at the end, you think in this way, your game is graphics, and graphics is 3D of pixel of matrices and vectors, right? That is three-dimensional or multi-dimension of the matrice. That all pixels has some value, and when you want to do the computation between that pixels and matrices and vector, GPUs are much better to remember those values. So coming back to challenges, what challenges we have? Okay, we have challenges like data bias. If you train your machine learning model on the data, let's say I'm talking about healthcare, and in healthcare thing, if I train the model from the data they collected, let's say from Starbucks because that was one of the ingestion of the data, right? And that data is from one city called Toronto. Then if I train the model on Toronto data and give it same machine learning model to the hospital in Winnipeg, where where those patients are kind of older patients, right? So the same data collected, and what I understood, lifestyle of the people living in Toronto is different than lifestyle people of Winnipeg, because they sleep early, they get up early, they eat dietful food. But let's say Toronto people will not eat dietful food in some example way. So that this bias is what causes you kind of disaster, right? That will be collateral disaster if you are not training the data on right data set. So age is also one thing. Accent, when you talk about the self-assistant tools like Siri and Alexa and those things, if you are not speaking in North American accent, there are chances that Siri will not understand what you're speaking, right? But yeah, it understands slowly. That's called self-training model. And there are bias on the technological algorithms, right? If that is created by some person and that person is not having a distributed diverse set, there would be chances. And there are chances of bias in pretend model. The company who developed that, whether that company had ethics of regulation of trust and transparency and diversity inclusion or no, right? Whether that was audited, whether that was compliance driven or no. Fake data and content, images, video, tweet and post generated an algorithm, right? So if someone is generating fake data, if algorithm and computer is generating the content like images, video, tweet and post, do you trust that or no? How do you identify that, right? Because most of the people right now, human psychology, not everyone probably, most of the people, let me say, are trusting on social media. Whatever forward is coming, whatever picture is coming, you bluntly trust that because you think what you see the video, that's correct. You change your perception, you change your psychological behavior based on that, right? And that creates your personality, that creates your thought process based on that. Unless you verify yourself, your news with something else. Let's say you go to fact check and Google and check that, oh, is this correct or not? Until and unless you will not have factual information, right? Because you can't trust that. Not all informations are coming fake, but probably there are chances of 5 to 7% of fake data generated on algorithms. So what is happening right now, Facebook and Twitter has own data regulation team, which has machine learning algorithm, and it can spam it out. It can just say this is fake news, this is a bad data, right? But this is growing field in Facebook lab or the Twitter lab, and that will be going on. Bad pattern data. If you have bad prediction, bad pattern data, if you give to AI and ML, it will generate the bad prediction, can cause harm or dangers to the society or the humanity, right? So you need to make sure when team is developing the machine learning algorithm or the data set provided, that should be distributed, that should be diverse on the impact of the society and the humanity. So some of the examples, let me give that. This is an Amazon algorithm. This predicts that appears to be male, 76.5%, whereas it looks, picture is female, right? You know that she is female, and then still Amazon algorithm says 76.5% appears to be male, because the data set used for the Amazon face recognition and the gender recognition was mostly driven by gender called male, right? When you provide the genders of the data male, then the chances of getting it generalized is less. So this is one challenge we have. You see the email, this picture of wife of Obama. It says that a young man wearing a black shirt by Microsoft, and it is giving you 93% of confidence. So in mathematics, you say likelihood or the confidence from 0 to 1. So 0.93 is equal to 93%. And you will see headline everywhere: who told artificial intelligence gender bias? Who will stop it, right? AI expert calls for end to UK use of racially biased algorithm, and you will see headline everywhere. I have been working in this field from 2014. So we need why AI ethics and accountability is everyone's responsibility, right? If you write an algorithm, you have responsibility to make sure that ethics and accountability is not violated of the general society and humanity. That's not, you need to make sure that there's not being impacted to them. And this is not only challenges are there on visual data. We have challenges on audio data. I mean, speech recognition, right? The last post which you can see in Google Home, this is on 15th July, means 2 days before. The RT released a tool to measure bias in speech recognition models. So mostly the voice is used is female voice over there, right? And some of people are doing kind of improper use of that. So not only that, why there's no way to change the voice, right? And this has reached to that level that UNESCO has to say that Siri can have the male voice, right? And whatever you speak should have, it's not only about gender bias, but also accent bias. As I said earlier, that if you can't recognize by the speech recognition device, still we need diversity, because these devices are not only used by one country, let's say America or the Canada. This must be used by many other countries, then only it is not biased, right? So keeping machine learning algorithms humble and honest in the ethics first era, AI's bias problem, why humanity must be written to AI. Those are the specific research on that. And I can give a name of the people, one called Timnit Gebru from Stanford University. She has been leading this field. One professor from IIT Madras, but right now in Caltech in US, the Nima Anand Kumar, she also works in same field. So if anyone want to know more about bias and challenges in the data science, you can reach out to them and understand more. So the fake content. Okay, so if you see these pictures, can someone tell that which picture is generated by computer or which is not generated by computer? So which is original and which is the fake image? I know we don't have time to give answer from the audience, but I can tell all of these pictures are generated by computer. None of the picture is even exist on this earth, right? So the machine learning algorithms are getting more and more advanced and dangerous at some extent to generate these algorithms. The person who found the GAN, called Generalized Adversarial Network, from Canada, his name is Ian Goodfellow. He said that we need to have some level of protection when we use these machine learning algorithms. And this is again on headlines at MIT Technological Review, that this is incredibly realistic fake faces. So how algorithms can now mess with us, right? If you just see the amount of data the Facebook can generate on the images, is more than ImageNet, one of the largest data set of the computer vision, right? So given the sample, it can generate different faces, which you can see here. Obviously, it requires quantum amount of computing power, which only those 4 companies has in the cloud industry. And not only pictures can be fake generated, but also the text can be generated fake, right? But one limitation is understand that it only generates based on sample data. If you ask that, can it write poem or can it write the expressions or thoughts? Probably not. Yet we are not there. But if you see this example, the OpenAI lab by Elon Musk, who is the founder of Tesla, his company says that OpenAI has published the text generating AI. It said was too dangerous to say even, right? Which can write everything based on what is being written there. Not only that, we have much more challenges with digital psychography. Means technically, this all social media companies take your data from social media or anywhere else, called behavior psychology, and applies this big data, machine learning, and data science algorithm and target the engagement. So all the advertisement which you see everywhere is personalized. Even your Google search is personalized based on your data. Not even based on your data. If you share any Wi-Fi hotspot or ISP, the other people, what they are searching, based on that, they will be targeting you, right? And they will be sending you the data which you want. Even though if you use an Instagram, and if your permission of microphone is on, what you are talking, that will be listened carefully over there. And next time when you open Instagram, the advertisement which you see is based on what you are talking. That level of data crunching is going on in this era, right? And ultimately, this will change your behavior. And this is the presentation from Cambridge Analytica sales presentation file, which I'm showing you right now. So what all we spoke till now is the technology behind data science, the use cases behind data science, application behind data science, and what are the challenges we have in data science, right? Once we gather those data, what the product-based companies are doing, they are using the model called Ocean personality model, which segment your characteristics of the data based on 5 parameters: openness, consciousness, extraversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism, right? This is 5 complex words called Ocean personality. And it will create a persona of each user, like what person is, what the personality of the person is based on the data set crunched. And on that, it will give you the recommendation or suggestion, or it will give you the advertisement, or it will target the audience based on that data set. Same thing based on that. If you see the challenge here, there's a difference on each persona, right? And this is example of the Cambridge Analytica. So based on that, they know now. So this was a real example in 2014-15 that Cambridge Analytica used this data set to target audience and change the mindset. They were targeting different geographical data on different advertisements, such as Deptt, right? Let's say that this was targeted based on that input set of data. And then at the end, Zuckerberg, of the CEO of the Facebook, saying that it was my mistake. I started Facebook and I'm responsible for what happens here, right? And then Facebook has improved so many things on data breach. But this kind of data breach can impact the most of the part of the world, right? Recently, 2 days ago, so far we were saying that, oh, if it's a blue tick, that's authenticate, you can trust that. But this has proven that probably it's not that authentic, right? The content on the security, if you see that. Most of the blue tick celebrity of the Twitter account was hacked, and it was tweeted like Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is a decentralized technology. So whatever transaction you do, that is not being isolated. You can't investigate from where money came and from where it has gone, right? Again, it was big challenge in the media and news channels. So all said, any hope to make world a better place to live? Yes, there is a hope. And there are research labs and universities and companies are focusing on data governance, data ethics and regulation, right? If you talk about GDPR compliance in Europe, talks about data of the Europe, personal data of the Europe countries should be saved in US. It should not be crunched outside, right? So there are laws and compliance over there. And there are also, remember that if machine learning and deep learning can generate the fake data, you can also detect the fake data with machine learning AI much more faster and much more kind of profound way of that. So some of the technologies is like the algorithm and design is that you provide image or video, computer vision and deep learning detection, the explainability, right? What is not there is explainability, right? You see some data, image and video, but probably what is missing is explainability over there, right? and prediction of that, and forensic can be done over there. And when you talk about detect the text fact data, there are models called GLTR, Grover, GPT-2 detection, bigram network graphs, right? Based on certain pattern, you can create the machine learning models which can detect that. So after that, I don't know how we are doing with time, but I think we are doing fine. So when I talk about learning path, what is the
Excuse me, Chetan. If you have time, we have time. Don't worry.
sure,
Okay.
thanks. Sure, thanks for that. When we talk about learning path, the minimal requirement to work with AI at production systems and the products, you need knowledge of linear algebra, because at the end, those matrices which you see all the data, because computer at the end understand numbers, okay? It will not understand image or video. As far as you are able to transpose those data, if you have, let's say, text data, you convert to numerical matrices. If you have images and video, I mean, you have to drop it to frame by frame, and then you generate the matrices and vector. Any matrix and vector operation which you apply, right? That's where you use linear algebra. Calculus derivation, when you talk about backpropagation and the deep learning models, you to find that some of the value propagation from the derivation. Programming, because without writing the code, you can't create the product. So you need to use this mathematical concept in programming way, right? Data structure algorithms. You will talk about efficiency and implementation, what to use, where to use. You also need statistics to understand that how your model is performing, your standard deviation and the mean of the values, that how it's performing, the y-hat of actual prediction and the predicted value, and root mean square error, that how far you lie as per the actual algorithm lives. Machine learning, yeah, you need to know the algorithms like random forest, classification, and linear regression, and so many others. Those are just a few algorithms to name it, but there are a wide array of algorithms in the community for data science and machine learning. At the end, if you see that you don't have enough amount of data, you want what to do if we don't have enough amount of data. That's where the GAN comes, okay, the generalized adversarial network, that it can generate the data. Okay, so the deep learning artificial neural network is that capable to imagine even, right? When you talk about generating the data set based on given certain amount of data, that's part of thinking what kind of different permutation and combination can be created. And that can also expand a bit amount of data. Then you adjust data set and then generate that, right? But the predictions is not 100% correct, right? So people say that this prediction is kind of confidential lie, that you then you lie with some confidence. That's called prediction, right? Not 100% sure. But if you give same lie 1,000 times, probably people will think this is correct, right? So same thing applies here. That if algorithm thinks this is correct, probably one day it will say it's correct, right? So that's where we need regulation, that's where we need ethics, and that's where it's most important to talk about those fields. And there's a wide amount of people working on that, so it's not even just to at that level. Let me talk about, this is learning path. I have forgotten to add slide for career path. So when you talk about career path, I'll talk from where I studied, right? Department of Computer Science, Kachchh University. So we have a course of MSc, CNIT 5 years, where in 2015, we have re-innovated the syllabus, re-engineered the syllabus. Means in 2015, I remember we were the only university teaching, we were the only government university teaching data science in master degree. So you will see in semester 9, we have data science, CCC as 936. and we have artificial intelligence. Okay, so the career pathway, there are so many other professional degree offered by Kachchh University in this area, and this treats everything from top to bottom, whatever needed, right? So yeah, in 2015, I worked with Professor Devji Sangha to write the syllabus. So when you talk about career path, yeah, you have degrees, you have got this learning path, that which subject is required on which steps, and this will probably help you to reach to your goal and your dream path. So I think I'm done from my side. Any questions? I would love to answer that.
Yes, if any questions is there from the audience, we are open now. Let me take the note of the presence of Dr. Amar Mehta also.
Hi,
If any
thanks for
questions
joining, sir.
from, if any questions from the audience, then I have some 2-3 questions. Anybody?
Yeah,
I
hello.
have a question. Sorry, go ahead.
I wish that
Okay.
please introduce yourself so audience can know, and then we'll ask the questions. Please.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so my name is Dr. Samir Ovadia. Currently, I'm situated in Hanover, Germany. And yeah, I'm very much associated with data science also. And yeah, first of all, Chetan sir, it was very nice presentation, knowing the technicality of this field. And plus you have talked about many examples also. So my question related to this presentation is that currently, what is the situation in Canada in the especially the job market so because of this effect of COVID-19? So how the things are working over there, and yeah.
Yeah. So thanks for joining the webinar, and thanks for your appreciation. Specifically, with respect to data science and machine learning, Canada is one of the pioneer country in the world when we talk about data science, because we have Geoffrey Hinton in University of Toronto, who found the backpropagation and perception algorithm, and his grandfather was the George Boole, who found the data type called Boolean, right? So he has been pioneer in this field. We have Joshua Bengio at Montreal, who leads the lab called Montreal Artificial Intelligence Lab, and Waterloo in the Ontario. So with respect to AI and machine learning and startups economy, we are very well connected, and there are so many startup works in machine learning and AI. Yeah, COVID-19 has affected the business and implications. So the job market is well going on, but number of hiring went down some of the places, because new investment has certainly went down, because the COVID-19 has been kind of uncertain. We don't know what would be the impact. So the companies and investors want to save the cost and don't want to invest new, but wherever they see the value is coming, or wherever they see the revenue is coming, they are much more towards that to invest the financial aspect. So hiring is based on that, and it really depends on the sector. So the Canadian banking and financial sector is one of the rich sector where you see job market is very high. If you talk about retail, yeah, this impact. If you talk about airline industry, it's completely devastated, right? Air Canada has almost gone on bankrupt. And so, I mean, there's no generic term, but it's based on sector and industry. But if you see at those healthcare industry, if you see at those pharmaceutical companies, right, their stock has gone through the roof, right? So yeah, wherever those sectors are much more important, where you see job market is high, and those sectors are implied, like retail and airline industry, travel industry, we see that the job market is down. Hotel industry, job market is down.
Okay. But and do you find any impact of people, like especially you know that in US, Mr. Donald Trump is changing the rules every now and then, yeah. So maybe people from US, especially those who are having H-1B visa, they may be shifting towards Canada because that is the nearest option which is having. So do
Yeah,
you
but
also find any change over there, that whether people are coming, or yeah, how is the situation?
yeah, that's what everyone is thinking. But so far, the border of US and Canada is closed, and I don't think we have any plan to open for 2020. And also our healthcare sector, healthcare is free in Canada. So so every the scale of healthcare that we have in Canada, the government is thinking whether we need to invite more people or no. Based on that, we can estimate the healthcare. If our healthcare industry is completely gone away, in the sense it is full, then we can't care of other people. So based on that, probably they are thinking and going on, but everything is uncertain right now. I don't think anyone can comment unless government take an action.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thanks for question. Yeah. Yeah, so please, others can go ahead for the questions if everything's fine for your side on audio.
Hi, my name is Anu Vittal. Thank you, Chetan, for a lovely presentation. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thanks for
great.
your...
So I wanted to ask, and so let me tell you a little bit about myself. I head the sales department in Axion Labs Canada, and I work closely with Chetan, and he's been a great asset to our organization, as you can all see. So one question I had with regards to the misuse of AI, is there a regulatory body? Hello, is there a...
I think there are some...
Yeah. So my question is there a regulatory body that controls the usage of AI and the way the algorithms are created?
I think, Khatri, if you can mute yourself, that would be helpful.
I request everybody to please.
Yeah, I have just removed her, so probably you can ask question now.
Please, please, yeah.
Yeah.
So do I have to ask the question again?
No, I understood your question. So
yes, thank you.
Body exists from government of Canada, government of US, and so many other group of community and the companies they work, right? So they need to make sure that they align with those and that they obey with the regulation. If you talk about Europe, they have GDPR. Okay, you can't launch anything on that. And the community is diverse to talk to government and get this done on any implications, right? So anywhere there's a personal use of data, there are regulations. If you see Facebook, Amazon are getting also big penalties wherever they have done any misuse of the data. So yeah, there are regulations and data compliance, what you can store and what you can't store.
Thank you so much, Chetan. One last question. I want to know, in this scenario that we are in, which is a global crisis, but it's also a great opportunity for enabling technology and especially AI, which industry or industries would you think this would be of the greatest benefit given the current scenario?
Yeah, I mean, I feel healthcare, e-commerce, right? If you see, shopping has been gone online, e-commerce industry, healthcare industry, drug discovery and finding the sequencing of the genes and correlating with the drug, which works best with where. That's where I think we have to focus. So at the end, it can help the world, it can help to the humanity and save the thousands of lives, right? So healthcare and pharmaceutical drug discovery, genome sequencing, that's where the time is to focus.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Any other questions from the audience?
Hi, it's
Yes,
it's
Maitri.
Maitri Padan.
Hi, Maitri.
Hi, I'm student at KSKV Kachchh University, studying masters in first year. I just had a question that is AI in Gujarat industries? Is AI we can find AI in Gujarat industries?
If I can rephrase your question, that there are use cases where machine learning and AI has been used in Gujarat, the state and industry. So one thing, remember, COVID-19 has made you very clear that you can work from anywhere. Remote work has become the one of the new way of working from anywhere, right? So if you're working from Bhuj or working from Kachchh or working from anywhere, you can still do AI and work for your customers and your companies, right? Several, not to give example, but there are several people working from remote areas and still working with the same field, right? Because anyway, everyone is using the laptop and computer. If you are using the Google, you are at the end using the AI, right? So your life is already been wrapped with AI. There's no way to get out of that. And the only one suggestion that any final project, if you are doing for the students, you should try to use machine learning and AI as an implicit part of your project. So that's where you will have understanding that what you can do that, right? If I give an example, when I was working in 2014 and 2004, when I was studying in 2014, 9th semester, there was 2 options in elective subject. One was advanced RDBMS and other was data warehousing and data mining. I was the only one student who took that subject and studied that without having any faculty. So I don't think this would be any thing at difficulty part, but it's based on your motivation and interest in that field, right? Because at the end, that's what it matters, right? That if you know that this is what you want to do, I don't think you have to copy others with that regards.
Okay. I have one more question.
Sure.
So can we say that good data warehouse arrangement can lead to good results in data science? Means can we say both are directly related or not?
Exactly, good question. That data warehousing and data science co-relationship, right? So data warehousing is a part help you to clean the data, crunch the data, doing the merge of the data. Let's say that I own the company called booking.com and I acquired the company called hotels.com. So how I can merge the customers of hotel.com and booking.com together, because there are chances that not only customers, the hotels and the rooms and this data and this data, you will merge the data, you will clean the data, you will extract the data. Those parts, creating data warehousing models, the fact schema and star schema, the querying engine to understand data, that what data is. Without understanding the data, you can't create the model, because if you don't understand, you can't create the model. So you will do extraction, you will do processing of data, you will generate the aggregation key points, so-called KPI. And based on that, you will create a visualization, and then you will explain that insight from the data to your business. Once business agree with you that, oh, this is one thing which can take us to the highest revenue, then only you will feed to the models and use automation and statistical derivation and generate machine learning algorithm which can take decision automatically than whatever you have done manually it can take. So the most important part is domain business understanding, business domain understanding, retail, healthcare, finance, insurance, regulations. Without you understand the business domain, you can't really help to the business to grow.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge.
Thanks.
Any other questions from the audience?
Hello, Chetan. Shruti Ashak here from Mahila College, Bhuj. Okay, I want to know the challenges in data science or data analysis in the industries. If we are working as a data analysis or a data analyst or finding a data on a net, what are the big challenges?
If you see that, I hope I understood the question correctly, that if we need to do data analysis or data analytics, what are the challenges we might face, right? Technological perspective, first thing is access to the data, whether this data is correct or no. If you get an access to wrong data, whatever you understand, whatever you inference, or whatever you get insight, probably not will help you to understand what it is, right? And I remember in 2014, I was working with my friend in Mumbai. We were sitting in one mall in Starbucks, and we were crunching the data of Indian Railway, and we found that the how many times train is stopping in between, and then we found that there are data where data points is not filled. If it's half data, if it's not accurate data, if the inputs are not given what you need, then it is no one is a noisy data for you, because it has so much of noise in between. So that is one challenge. I mean, most of the industry even spend much time to clean the data, right? If you don't have a proper data set, you can't do that. Half data has no value, right? And also you need diverse data. Based on just getting data of one area or one city or one part, you can't tell that the outcome of everything, right? So if you take an example of pattern of COVID-19 patient in Chennai, probably it is not same with the pattern of COVID-19 infection in the Mumbai, because geography is different, people are different, right? So what you should do is that just as an example, you take since you know that this more data cannot fit your data set, and you just want to understand high level. So what you will do, you will take 20% data from Chennai, but you will shuffle randomly. You will not choose 1 to 20 in row number in Excel sheet, let's say, in that example. You will say randomly give me 20% of data from Chennai, 20% data from Mumbai, and 20% data from the city called Delhi, right? And then you will do analysis on that. If you don't randomly shuffle the data, the chances of getting the similar kind of pattern is more. So your understanding will be biased, that what you think is biased now, because you can't generalize that input and output of the data set. That's one challenge, I feel. Other challenge is that your computation power has grown now up, so you will not have challenge to have access to the computer in the cloud. Probably, I feel it's not only computer science students, but learning programming will enable you to think very much in the intuitive way, that the computer science helps you to think better. One thing is what I learned in my life from last 1 decade, right? You can think much more on the problem set, and then you can try new techniques on that, right? And then come up with which help you to understand better. So let's say if you get a news saying that COVID-19 is growing because of that, one way for you is to blindly trust that whatever newspaper is saying is correct. Other ways that what you go to data set by yourself, you analyze data set and you understand that, right? Now it is your self-satisfaction. I don't think that we have to tell others this is how I understood, but this help you to understand better than so many other people, right? You might feel many people are bluntly trusting on social media and the forwards, right? But you know that what is fact because you have access to the data, right? And now access to the data is kind of go on by, let's say, COVID-19 data set, covid19india.org, or the world jobmeter.com gives you data set of the COVID. You can download in CSV file, and then you can just open an Excel file. You can do pivot, VLOOKUP, and lookup and figure it out what you are getting, right? So it's so simple analysis. Once you apply your pivoting, lookup and VLOOKUP, and then you understand that, oh, there are 5 cities of data is there. Once you, on pen and paper, you understood that what you want to do, then you will apply the machine learning and programming techniques. People were using SAS Studio earlier to get regression and classification. But now, since programming like Python has become so simpler than what it was earlier, in 5 lines of code, you can write that machine learning model. So you can learn that. from that.
Yes.
Thank you, Chetan.
Any other questions from the audience? No? Chetan, I want to ask only one question now.
Sure.
Look, you have studied mathematics and statistics as far as colleges are concerned. What the problems we are facing is how to motivate the students to learn that. Shall we change the teaching style or teaching methodology? Or can you share 2-3 lines that students motivate themselves, right?
Yeah, so this is one of my favorite subject, education. As you know, I have been talking, I make sure that I visit the Department of Computer Science when I'm there. And that way I also understand the field, because when you talk about education part, I studied in one village, I studied in different city for high school. I received my education in different part of geographical area. And then I spoke to 20 conferences for 19 countries and different audience from there. What I understand, the motivation and inspiration is a key to learn any subject, right? I was not aware that the value of operational research until I went to Singapore and met one bankers, right, over there. There was no value of that for my life until I knew it. Why I'm studying, I don't know, right? So I think our education system should be much more driven to the applications of the subject. So many people study MSc mathematics, graph theory, but they don't know that if you go to flight radar, the ATS uses the same algorithm to see that how much far the flight is from that area, right?
Correct.
So one is that the giving real life examples and correlating that lesson and chapter with respect to application, and probably giving similar activity for student to come up with. Probably that will help a lot. But for me, how I got motivated, if you ask a question, I was widely connected with internet and then spending much more time with that. I think sir knows that I was the one comes at 8 a.m. in the morning and goes to 8 p.m. at the home, right? So I was spending 12 hours in department and the university, right? So that was a time, golden time, that in my life, I know I will not get that time back. That 5 years I spent to the university, and that changed the life and perspective and perception of your thought process. And so creating interest and motivation is one way is that, and second way is anyway the creating projects in same field, right? I don't think we have to allow students to create static website or PHP kind of projects. Let them fail. I mean, I failed many times, then I succeed. So let's say in 7th semester, my professor told me to create a project. When I went with the proposal to him, he said, you can't create a project in .NET. That's over. And I was rejected with my project abstract. So then I used different technology called Java, and then we created MAU called Mail Agent User. And that was the one only in open source tool that people were using at that time, right? And then some of the things were complex, but learning was important than marks. So if I think this is one big perception, most of the students want to rank themselves, then learn that. So if you focus towards that part, and I mean, it's so hard to change that perception. You know, in entire class, everyone is talking about getting more marks, and if you're talking about learning something, that environment is not there. So ultimately that person might get demotivated that, no, I want to also gain the marks, right? And everyone knows that I achieved gold medal in 2014, but I have never seen my gold medal certificate in the last 6 years, because I don't think it was needed anywhere to me, right? In industry. But I mean, we know that the importance is the knowledge powers that, not the certification and the marks. So that environment will generate that. But remember, ultimately, if you learn and if you learn towards application, right? My thought process was learning with application, and to understand that, I wrote in my all exam papers with that example, and then I always got good marks, because no one thought to that level that this can be done with this example, right? Now, one way was that the professor teaches to student with the example and real application. The other ways that, for example, students writes in application mode and examiner checks that. So there are high chance and high probability or probability chances that you will impress to the examiner, right? So it's not one way advantage, it is two way advantage to you, you know, at that level.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much, Chetan. Again, Mr. Audience, if any questions are there?
Yeah, feel free to
I
ask.
have
So,
one question.
Chetan, I think, yes, yes.
Sir, are you getting my voice?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir. First of all, thanks for a beautiful presentation, Chetan sir.
Thanks.
Sir, I am a second year BCA student studying in DNV college. So, sir, my question is, first of all, getting placed in big brands like Google, Microsoft is the dream of every computer science student. So, how can we get to those companies if we, how can we try and get recruited in those companies? So, as a data scientist.
I mean, it's a long way to go for that part. There's two ways. I think first working with startups and then applying interviews over there. See, these big brands, in India, Amazon has a big factory in Hyderabad. You can tell now, okay, 22,000 people can work in one building in Hyderabad, where some of the friends are working there. So the South India is specifically for IT dominated area where you see most of the software engineering outsourcing is done in India. So your initial years where you strengthen your data structure algorithm, and then you gain the experience, then you understand real life examples with the industry, and because that's what those companies are asking, that do you have experience with working with this kind of domain, and those or not, right? Now, data scientist, I mean, to be honest with you, the word using scientist for working with the machine learning and AI has been changing now, right? I don't think we are someone like Newton or finding some science behind that, right? We are just using 5 lines of Python code, and term is going data scientist, right? So now industry is understanding. Now industry calls ML engineer or algorithmistic, or they call it data engineer, or those terms are there. Some of the people who work with R and Python, the role is called data modeler, to create database modeling, right? So specifically, Amazon hires data scientists, but they hire from PhD folks from, let's say, IIT Madras and those things, who really work for science. They publish papers and then they go to conference and talk about their research. Now, research has no, you can't predict the outcome of research. That's where there's a research, right? And you don't know probably you will succeed in that area or no. You spend some time of some amount of time and you work on discovery and you come up with some observation on that, right? So regardless whether Amazon want to use that in the company or no, is up to Amazon. But Amazon still, let's say one example, Amazon, but let's say Facebook and Apple and Spotify, most of them are hiring the PhD folks to work with the industry because they want to understand, analyze the latest modeling techniques. Probably something which you can do in purely way of mathematics can be done in computer science or no. Okay, create the frameworks of that and make sure that it can be usable, easier way. So the short answer to your question is that you have to gain the industry experience, because I mean, there are two ways. One is campus placement to Amazon, and I don't think Amazon does campus placement very often. Then it hires from directly experienced folks, right? Second way is to go to off campus in Amazon. I mean, if you go to Bangalore, Hyderabad, the off campus, you just go and give interview, right? And if you get selected, you get offer, right? So, but one perception that I would suggest to change, that it is not only thing to work for this big 4 companies than working for startups, right? because startups will give you the freedom and flexibility to learn more things than you learn in big four companies. Ultimately, whatever you learn in startups for, let's say, a couple of years, that you can reuse in the big four companies, right, over there.
Okay, thank you, sir, for answering.
Thanks.
Any other questions from the audience?
No, sir.
Okay, Chetan, I think it is a closing time now.
Yeah, thanks
and,
for everything.
Let me formally thank you very much for giving such a valuable time. Okay, and let me thank Samir sir, Amar sir, Manish sir, Jay sir, Sandeep sir, Dheeraj sir, Shruti ma'am, and every participants, those who have participated. Okay, and Chetan, it was nice to hear from you every time. And this time it was very special as you are away from the India. Okay, and we wish that again you will come for with some more informative sessions and everything. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. I would like to thank Amar sir and Department of Computer Science staff and DNV College of Head Sandeep sir. I don't remember, but I think he took my project interview in semester 7 or 8.
He knows you.
Yeah, so thanks for joining the call. And thanks to students and everyone who joined this webinar.
Okay, so I think let us close. Thank you very much, Chetan.
Thank you so much.
See you next time. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Bye.
See you next time. Bye. Take care.